Hello and welcome to 5 Minute Physiology. My name is Ken Vitale. I'm a professor at the university here and teach human anatomy, exercise physiology, and an intro to sports medicine class. And in these videos, I like to review some interesting or unique points from lecture, and I'd like to share them with you for more learning. So let's get started. So some of you may have come across this in your teachings and learnings. These are all the different metabolic processes that go on in a cell, and it's like, holy smoke, where am I going to find ATP? And it's very easily summarized here. Stage 1, 2, and 3, glycolysis, citric acid cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. And we all know that. Another way to categorize this location, stage 1 being in the cytoplasm and categorized as anaerobic, and stage 2 and 3 are in the mitochondria and aerobic. But there's another way to categorize it that I find a lot more interesting, and there's some studies here that really beautifully illustrate this very nicely, and it's the amount and rate of ATP production. So this is the main study I wanted to highlight. First stage of the study, maximum rate of phosphate bond regeneration, depending on the fuel source. When you are just doing glycolysis, you can regenerate phosphate bonds pretty quickly. Compare that to the full oxidation of glucose through stages 2 and 3. It goes slower, but still a lot faster than beta oxidation using fatty acids. Much slower rate of phosphate bond regeneration. These numbers mirror very nicely the rate of utilization, how much ATP we are using. When we run a marathon, we are requiring about 36 millimoles of phosphate per gram per minute. And look at that, it lines up so nicely to glycogen. This is why people carbo load. If you just ran a marathon on fats, you are going to go a lot slower. Look at this though. If you are doing a 100-meter dash, you need 93 phosphate bonds per gram per minute. And with glycolysis anaerobic, you're only getting 84. So where is that little extra bit of energy coming from? And yeah, it comes from here, creatine. This is a commonly missed or just underappreciated source of ATP because it's just not emphasized in typical exercise physiology classes. But when you are going through some short-term bursts of exercise, such as 100-meter dash, running from home to first, or weightlifting, that certainly qualifies. Any of these different activities, you need really fast energy, and you just need a quick storage of ATP in the form of phosphocreatine. FYI, if you've been adding up the different fuel sources, right? Glycogen, glucose, carbohydrates, fatty acids, phosphocreatine. Oh yeah, protein. That's another, energy source or food source. Is it really a fuel source? And yes, your body can utilize protein, feeding them into the Krebs cycle at different phases depending on the amino acid here. But we don't have a good storage form of protein, right? Glucose, we store it as glycogen. Fatty acids, we store it as fat. Proteins, we don't have a storage depot in the body. Or do we, right? This is the other main point that I wanted to bring up in this talk here, the alanine glucose cycle. It's pretty fascinating. Your muscle cannot release glucose into the bloodstream. If you have a non-exercising muscle and your quads are burning from running uphill and you need to feed that with some energy, you can't donate glycogen from your biceps to your quads. So what your quads do when it is desperately in source of energy and you've burned through all your glycogen, well, you can take it from your own muscle, right? Your muscle breaks down amino acids, turns it into alanine, sends it into the bloodstream. Your liver takes it, says, aha, I know what to do with that. I'm a liver. Your liver can turn it into glucose, send it into energy back for your muscles to use. So if you've been exercising for several hours and you've burned through all your glycogen and you got nothing left, your body will take its own, so to speak, storage form of energy in terms of protein from your own muscle. And up to 45% of the liver's glucose release comes from your own muscle, which actually amounts to about 10 to 15% of total energy. These are usually in the ultra endurance races, such as beyond marathon distance, and you are just chewing away at your own muscle as a source of energy. So another slide to demonstrate this, you take your muscle protein, turn it into alanine, goes into the blood, liver turns it back into glucose, sends it back to your muscle so you can use it for energy. If you think about it, you're actually cannibalizing your own muscle. How disgusting is that? But that does happen if you don't properly fuel when you exercise. So yeah, pretty gross, huh? That one took a little longer. I know that one went over 5 minutes, but usually we're going to keep them at five. This was just such a cool and kind of disgusting display of physiology that does happen in extreme situations. So there you go, physiology in 5 minutes. If you have any interesting snippets that you would like me to cover, please let me know in the comments below, and I hope you join me in the next one.